Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Liz Loves Books, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag, so let's get started. The first question is, how has your reading year been so far? And so I'm just going to kind of give some stats. As of today, right when I'm filming this, June 30th, I've read 55 books. And I might get to 56 today, so 55 to 56 books. And I have read a total, this is from my spreadsheet, so it could be a little off. Supposedly, I have read, listened to, etc., a total of 19,190 pages, which is kind of crazy. I have read a total of 8 genres. I've read fantasy, fantasy romance, nonfiction, thriller, romance, horror, just general fiction, and graphic novels, and manga. And my reading goal for the year is 150. I am behind, but I've been reading a lot more bigger books this year than I did last year, I think. So I think that might equate to why I'm a little bit behind, but that's okay. Question number 2 is the best book that you have read so far this year. And if you've watched some of my other videos, I have discussed this book already, but so far it is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This is a YA horror book, and I had never thought in my life that young adult horror would be my best book of the year so far. And nothing has come close to beating it. Except for maybe one book. But anyway, that is not about that book. This question is about this one. This follows Andrew and Thomas, and they are both in their senior year at their private school that they attend. And this is basically just about the two of them and their relationship and them kind of surviving throughout their senior year. And now the horror element, I'm not going to talk too much about because I feel like it kind of can give away the story, but I'll give like a little inkling about it. So Andrew and Thomas are both very like artsy, artistic people. And oh, sorry, I saw the back cover and I just had to stare at it for a little bit. It's so disturbingly beautiful. There's a special edition coming out of it that I need immediately. Anyway, we're gonna go back. So, Andrew, he is our main male character. And Thomas is also a main male character, but Andrew's like the main one. So Andrew, he writes these really like spooky, scary fairy tales. And Thomas is really good at drawing, so he ends up drawing the characters from Andrew's stories. And that's kind of where the horror element starts. So that's all I'm going to give away about that. But another thing that is really, really beautiful in this book is it follows kind of the love story between Andrew and Thomas. And Andrew, he's kind of figuring out his sexuality. He's not sure if he is gay, if he's bi, if he's asexual. But it is kind of leaning more towards asexuality, which was really interesting because I hadn't ever read a book that had an asexual main character in it. So that was like really amazing for me to be able to read. The other thing that is cool about this one is it also follows Thomas's twin sister, whose name is Dove, and she kind of is ignoring them throughout the whole book. She's doesn't want to interact with them because of a situation that occurred the summer before the senior year school started. So it's so hard to talk about because I don't want to give away anything. It's so difficult. That's all I'm going to say about it because I don't want to ruin anything. But please, 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 please read it. And C.G. Drews is coming out with another YA horror book in the fall that I read an e-arc of that's called Hazelthorn. Another very, very good book. I gave that one 4 stars. This one is my favorite at the moment, though. So please read C.G. Drews' books. A lot of great representation, beautiful cover art. There's art in the book, at least in this one, and there's some art in Hazelthorn too. So I don't know if they're going to continue doing that, but it's really fun. Then my best sequel that I read of this year, I kind of had to look through and figure out, but I think my best sequel is Forged by Malice by Elizabeth Helen. This is the Fairy Loot Special Edition. This is book 3 in the Beasts of the Briar series. So I'm not going to explain anything about this book because it's the third book in the series and it will spoil a ton. But let's just say it follows our male main character, Prince Ezrin, and his story, basically. This whole series is on KU. It's super spicy if you love some spice. Fantasy romance, Beauty and the Beast retelling. It is not a finished series, but Elizabeth and Helen just got picked up by Bloom Books. So they have the first, I think it's 3 books. There's Bonded by Thorns, Woven by Gold, Forged by Malice, and Broken by Daylight. That's the 4th book. Those ones are all out. And the 5th book just got the title released recently. I think it's called Frosted by Starlight, something like that. It's not releasing until spring of next year because it got picked up, which kills me. Because then that also means that the KU release dates are kind of different too. But if you read the first 4, there's also a novella that Elizabeth and Helen, their sister duo, released that is not part of the Bloom pickup. It was just an indie published book. It's on KU. There's physical copies that you can buy called Prince of the Arena, which I would recommend to not read it until you've read the first book in the series because it'll spoil a relationship. But it's a very cute, fun, spicy little novella that takes place in 2 different summers before the plot of Beast of the Briar. So that is my favorite sequel of the year. And the series in general is like a fave series. So please read it. Then a new release that you haven't gotten to, but you want to read, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. I want to read Atmosphere. I've been watching a lot of reading vlogs about it, and it's been interesting because I've been hearing some really great reviews as usual, but I've also been hearing some mixed reviews, so I'm curious to see where this will fall in my ranking so far of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. But this takes place in the 1980s, and it follows the kind of burgeoning NASA space shuttle program, and it follows our female main character. Her name is Joan Goodwin. She has been obsessed with being able to go into space and just learn everything she possibly can about space. And it just follows her and all the other astronauts that are part of this space shuttle program, their relationships, the good, the bad, the love, the toxicity, etc. But then I've also learned that from some of the reading vlogs that I've watched, that it's a lot of a relationship between Joan and her sister and Joan's niece, whose name is Frances. So it also talks about their relationship as well. So I'm curious where that will kind of come into play in this book. Then some anticipated releases that I am excited for in the second half of the year. First one is Wildcard by Elsie Silver in her newest series that she has going out, which I cannot think of the name of the series for the life of me. But it is Elsie Silver's first kind of foray into an ex-boyfriend's dad trope. And there's also an age gap as well. And of course it's small town because it's within one of the towns that's in Canada that she bases all of her books in. So I'm excited for that one. And it's a purple cover and it's so cute and it's going to look so good next to all my other 3 books in that series. Then I'm also excited for a new duology by Lila Sage. It's coming out, I believe, in September, and it is called Soul Searching. And the cover is here. It's kind of like a mystery, like a romantic suspense, I think. So that'll be really interesting to read and see how I like it, since I loved the Rebel Blue Ranch series. And then another one that releases in August, I believe, is Calabasas by R.F. Kuang. I feel like this one's gonna move back a little bit more into the foray that she had in Babel. And yes, The Poppy War is on my TBR, but I have not read it. But I'm really looking forward to Calabasas. Then the next question is your biggest disappointment of the year. And I kind of had to look back at my spreadsheet because there were some books that I gave low ratings, but they weren't necessarily disappointments because I wasn't thinking, oh my god, this is going to be the greatest book. But after looking through all of them, I kind of decided that the sequel in the Secrets of the Nile series by Isabel Ibanez, Where the Library Hides, I've decided so far that is my biggest disappointment, just because I feel like the characterization of our female main character changed so much from book 1 to book 2. She was really headstrong, thought for herself, ambitious in book 1, and I feel like in book 2 she just kind of became a lot more meek, a lot more mild, which there's nothing wrong with a character being that way, but if they go from headstrong to meek and mild for no apparent reason, that's when I'm gonna have a problem. And I feel like the plot that was just trying to be too much was trying to be done, I think, and either it needed to be longer or it needed to be a trilogy. I would probably err towards a trilogy because this book was already like 400 something pages, so I don't think it should have been any longer, especially because it's considered like a YA fantasy series. Kind of goes into that new adult realm because there is a little bit of on-page discussion about like sexual innuendos and things like that. But yeah, it was just a disappointment. I listened to both those books on audio. It's just not as good as the first book. Then the next question is my favorite new author. That is C.G. Jers. Don't Let the Forest In was the first book that I read by them, and it's my favorite book of the year so far, so hence favorite author so far this year. Then question number 8 is my favorite fictional crush. So I have to go back to 2 because I couldn't decide. Ezran from Beast of the Briar. He was my favorite in book 1, book 2, book 3, and I don't know if anybody will ever beat him. Maybe. There's a couple more books coming out in the series, but his character is just so unique and different, and he's not as stereotypical as some of the other male characters in the Beast of the Briar series. So that's kind of what I liked him. He's a little bit more depth to him. And then, surprise, surprise, my other favorite fictional crush of this year is Dusty from Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This little blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy, I love him. Love him, love him, love him. His character is just so kind, caring, attentive. He pines so hard. And it was so fun to read in this book. This is my favorite of the series. It's book 4. I thought it was going to be my least favorite because some tropes in here just aren't my favorite or aren't my preferred tropes, like second chance, high school sweethearts, friends to lovers. But I ate this up and it's my favorite in the series now. So that was a really fun, nice surprise. Then question number 9 is a book that made you cry. I haven't had any books that have made me actually like cry, but the closest I could say I could come to kind of the tie between 2. One is Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wang. This is my second favorite book of the year with the beautiful red sprayed edges. The way Emma Wang put so much into this short of a book, and it's a standalone fantasy. Emma Wang knows how to write. Oh my god. There was just so much depth to all of the characters. They all had their own thoughts and opinions, and they all were so different and distinct from one another. None of them felt the same, which I feel like is hard to do in a fantasy series, let alone a standalone. And Emma Wang seems to be known for standalones. So I didn't cry, but I was really sad at the end. Please read this one. This one is also an absolutely amazing book. And then another one that I read on audio was The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. This was an absolutely devastating book. There's also a documentary series about it. I don't remember what streaming service it's on, but if you kind of look up the whole YouTuber Ruby Frankie saga, it'll pop up. It follows a Mormon FLDS family that were based in Utah, and they were family vloggers on YouTube. And I used to watch them. Like, I used to watch Ruby and then all of her other siblings who had family vlogging channels. So it was really alarming to read this and watch the series knowing that, like, I watched them when all of this, well, not everything that occurred, but, like, a lot of it in the beginning was happening behind the scenes. So I think that's what made it hit really hard. But the book was written by Sherry Frankie. She is the oldest daughter of Ruby and Kevin Frankie. And she was really the only one who was trying to help out her younger siblings who were still stuck in this absolutely tormentative, abusive household. And the abuse was mainly done by Ruby Franke, the mother, and then a friend / mentor that they ended up kind of communicating with. And her name was Jody. Yeah, Jody, what's her last name? Her last name doesn't matter. Her name is Jody. She was a trash bag. And honestly, even their father, Kevin, to some degree, he didn't stop a lot of it. So I consider him also a problem within this. There's a lot of trigger warnings for familial abuse. So if that's something that triggers you, I would recommend to maybe stay away from it until you're ready to read it. But it's just so heart-wrenching, and being able to listen to the audiobook and have Sherry narrate the story was just so impactful. So that is another one. I didn't cry at the book, but I did cry watching the documentary because there's a lot of visual images that were just absolutely horrific. So anyway, let's move on to the next question, which is a book that made you happy. The Beast of the Briar series by Elizabeth Helen. These are the Fairy Loot special editions of the first 4 books, and they better do the next couple books because I need to have the whole series. I mean, look at these flowers. So the books itself make me happy, but the story itself just makes me happy. It's about found family, queer love, friendship, acceptance, standing up for yourself. There's some spiciness in it. It's lovely. Please read it. It's on KU. Go. Right now. And then another book that I wanted to say that I listened to an audiobook that made me really happy was actually Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. I listened to an audiobook and I loved it so much that I bought a copy for my shelves. This one made me really happy because it is a story about music. And my undergrad was in music and theater, so that has always been something that is really, really important to me. And it was fun to be able to read about it in a book series. Now, granted, these are instrumental musicians. Our female main character, Gwen, plays the violin, and then our male main character, Xander, plays the cello. I am a singer, and I play some piano, so it wasn't exactly what I've done, but it was so cool because they were playing in like the equivalent of the Manhattan Pops, which is a more contemporary styled orchestra that is actually like a real thing in a lot of professional orchestras throughout the US. And it was nice just because like it was just their romance and what they did to be able to be with each other, and they also, were dealing with their own traumas. And there was a 3rd act breakup, but it wasn't necessarily because of one of the 2 characters. It was because of another side character who manipulated them and told them the others were saying things. So that kind of 3rd act breakup, I don't mind as much because it wasn't these 2 being like, we just can't be together because, meh, So that was another book that made me happy. And most beautiful editions or books that you have, Being a Dead Horse, Beast of the Briar series by Elizabeth Helen. They're stunning. I have a book haul, I believe, that I haven't posted yet. That was for June, which I don't know will go up before this or after, but it shows them in more detail. But I would also recommend that if you do watch that video and you don't want any spoilers, I would only look at the edition of the first book, because the other 3 has like character art of the other characters and it kind of spoil relationships. So then, last question, what books do you need to read? My entire TBR. I'm not like gonna list ones I need to read. We're gonna be here for 500 years if I do. I just need to work on my own physical TBR. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, that was the mid-year freak out tag. Please let me know in the comments below what is your best book of the year so far, and I look forward to seeing you guys in another video soon. Bye guys.